Let's get into Instagram. So, I've got some interesting current news on Instagram as a platform, and just you might have seen an article that just came out over the weekend or end of last week around Instagram's bot issues, which Twitter sort of faced a couple of years ago. It's interesting that now, as inevitably as a platform grows and scales, you end up with the sort of bots that start to flood streams, expand follower rates, and the sort of likes for follows, likes for comments, yuckiness that's around. So just something to be aware of when you start looking at case studies for some different brands and seeing that they have really large follower numbers, that there could be an element of inflation there around bots, and probably Instagram will address this shortly and do another round of cleanup, which they've already done. All right, so this week you might be saying, hold on, didn't I take a Facebook marketing class? Why are we talking about Instagram? So if you remember way back to week one, I said to you that we're exploring the Facebook family. And in that Facebook family, that includes Facebook, Facebook Messenger, Facebook groups, and WhatsApp, but the sort of media darling du jour, which is Instagram. And so what I really want you to think about this week is to consider where Instagram fits into your overall Facebook strategy. Believe it or not, they are connected. And by bringing those 2 really great weeks of Facebook knowledge forward, you're now equipped to understand the Instagram ads platform. So yay, 2 for 1 in this course, because all of the really in-depth understanding of edge rank and targeting that we covered in Facebook, all of that exact same platform's coming over to Instagram, and that was just announced, so breaking news. So we can bring not only our ads knowledge over, but also that community management knowledge, the not overusing hashtags, as we talked about, and just really building a great photo, beautiful storytelling post. Those subjects that we covered last week are back bigger and better in Instagram. You do have homework for the week, so your task will be to start an Instagram account if you haven't already. So that's one thing you might want to pause the video and go and do if you're going to follow along live, or make a note to yourself, jot it down if you're listening here, to open hashtag, open an Instagram account, and then post one photo with 1, maybe 2, that's it, relevant hashtags, and link me to that post in your homework. And then what I just want to see is a really brief, not a big long essay, but a brief 140-character short description of how you think Instagram's going to fit within your overall Facebook strategy. Are they the same? Are you taking your content from Facebook and bringing it to Instagram? Are they completely different? Now that you've explored Instagram as part of your homework for the week, does it fit at all? Does it make sense? Is it the same ad campaign or different, and why? Brief answers. So a couple few notes. So we have what we have with Instagram is a mobile-only network. We do have the ability to see Instagram posts from the web, but you can't post from the web, nor can you really easily search or add users. It's actually really cumbersome on purpose to keep that traffic within the mobile devices, Android and iOS. So very limited web version. We have the core of Instagram is the feed. Where we can see all of our photos updated in real time. It includes those who you are following and a little bit now of ads, but not random stuff. Not so far. So we're not getting like random posts that your friends liked. We're not seeing comments. We're not even really seeing how our friends have been tagged in other Instagram posts. It's actually a little bit difficult to see that. So really Instagram, part of the reason why I think it's so popular is because we're really focused on only the content that we've selected, which if you think about it is a bit of a departure from even Twitter, which is showing us content that our friends have retweeted or favorited. Facebook, of course, we're seeing all of that content from every time our friends do anything on Facebook. Instagram has recommended pins. Sorry, Pinterest has recommended pins. But Instagram, other than the 1 or 2 odd ads we're seeing, which is still generally pretty rare, non-invasive, it's really just focused on the network that the content you create, knowing that ads are going to get bigger. A few other quick stats on Instagram in case this is the first time this is being introduced to you. Instagram started out as its own startup out of Silicon Valley and was acquired by Facebook for $1 billion without ever earning $1 of revenue. Pause, take a breath, think about that. Let me just say it one more time. Instagram was acquired by Facebook for $1 billion without ever earning a dollar of revenue. Why? Because the potential for Instagram's growth and scale, and I think Facebook's overall vision of the visual storytelling future of social media really led them to see the value in that platform. Also, the way that you can upload pictures so quickly, Instagram's servers to host images. It was a good win for Instagram to be able to grow to tap into Facebook's back end. And then obviously Facebook's targeting and user profiles is a very strong value proposition for Instagram. In terms of searching, there are only two ways to find new content on Instagram. You can either search by user, where you start typing in the user name itself, or search by hashtag, and those are two different types of searches. So if you search by hashtag, you're not going to find answers of users, and vice versa. Instagram is really encouraging people not to over hashtag. So really encouraging people to make tags specific and relevant rather than tagging generic words like photo, fun, food, etc. That way you can really find your like-minded targets. It's really what the intention of Twitter hashtags always was meant to be before people flooded the stream with the ugly school, fun, Toronto, blah, blah hashtags that I loathe so much. Here's some interesting stats on the size. User-wise, we're still quite small compared to Facebook, but 300 million users is nothing to balk at. Each second, 58 photos are being uploaded to Facebook. Each second, a new user is being created. And the total number of photos uploaded since inception has now toppled over 1 billion photos. So we definitely want to tell a visual story, and we want to do it instantly. Although Latergram is a pretty popular hashtag. You know that you've become a popular, successful social media platform when a second social media platform parodies it. So if you want to start on what's up with the storytelling nature of Instagram, you can look up the Rich Kids of Instagram, which is a Tumblr pulling in all of the luxurious lives of the 1%, if you will, and sort of, I guess, mocking / just calling attention to some of the ways Instagram's being used with those who have more money than we do. Definitely Instagram has a play with youth. We're seeing that with high school students reporting Instagram definitely taking more use in daily logins than Facebook. And you can see that even in the way that MTV has positioned themselves. So we don't have one big brand page for MTV on Instagram. We have MTV, MTV2, and MTV2's news all as separate accounts with separate followers and different content. So really we're seeing a separation of different feeds because our Instagram feeds are so highly curated and personalized that if they go for the one catch-all type of user approach, we might see that it's not as successful in terms of gaining new credible followers. What I think is so interesting is we always said, oh, Twitter is the place for news. Lots of people still say Twitter is the place for breaking news. Quickly playing in that space is Instagram because of just the visual storytelling nature, as we want to see photos in real time. BlogTO, massive presence on Instagram. Huffington Post, lots of images. And what I think is so interesting is there is actually a real difference in the Instagram content versus the web content. So it allows us to be connected to BlogTO, the Instagram feed, and still have a purpose and reason to go to BlogTO, the app, the Twitter feed, or the website itself, because for BlogTO, for instance, we're only really seeing city-specific photos and food-specific photos, event-specific photos. Whereas on the news on the news site, we're seeing lots more content. So there's a very specific focus for BlogTO and Instagram, and I think that's playing into its success right now. In general, though, we're seeing lots of photojournalism even from those citizen journalists. What's important here is there's not an inclusion of links. It's mostly text-based. So on Instagram, we're not encouraging people to click off to the web, which sort of keeps it magical, right? We dive into Instagram, we can get stuck into video loops for a while, but we're not encouraging people to come out too much. Some brands are playing with this, and we'll explore it in a few minutes. But you have to sort of say the link is in my profile, and then you have to assume users can get back to your profile, and then they bump out of their feed. They might not want to do that. So really, the whole call to action and any content that you want your users to engage with has to be done with the photo and comments. maybe repost, but right now with Instagram, there isn't even really a good way to repost content. You have to use a third-party app. So really think about that when you're building your call to action. How do I engage with users only in this app without asking them to take my content and share it externally? What's great about it, though, is the liking is really popular on Instagram. Engagement is high, so you can get some really great user feedback on what's interesting to them quickly. What I like to say when I describe Instagram in one word, it's consumption. Instagram is such an interesting platform from a social media perspective because it is a consumptive experience instead of an active sharing experience like the other tools tend to really promote. More than any other social network, Instagram has a consumptive experience first and foremost, even though they trick you into thinking it's about taking photos. Although there are 6 billion total photos on Instagram, there are more than 130 million active users on the network. Actually, that stat's old. 300 million monthly users on the network. So we see that people are sharing and engaging for the engagement's sake. Big brands do have a presence. We're looking here at an image of Coca-Cola with their, say, 5,000 followers when I snapped this photo. But really, I say Instagram is the new e-commerce for shopping. As we start seeing more and more news about retail outlets and malls closing, we're seeing how our brands engaging with users in a way to inspire that shared shopping experience. The Etsy's of the world, the Shopify's, the individual small mom and pop shop stores, restaurants, cafes, shops of all kind, they are winning the Instagram game. Check out here Ollie Jones. They're a Toronto-based kids legging and clothing company, mostly focused on leggings and headbands. 16,000 followers. They've just launched in 2014, really driving a ton of sales through Instagram. How do I know that, even though I don't work for Ollie Jones? Take a look at the last 6 posts within the last few days. 2 different Instagram-specific promo codes for 30% off. Why do we think that is? Because they know they're willing to give 30% off as their cost per acquisition through Instagram because overall they're driving a ton of sales through Instagram purchases, and that's without links. That means all they do is they throw up a cute baby picture with a baby in adorable leggings, and we say, oh my God, I need those leggings, and we go out of our way to get over to the web, type in their URL, and make a purchase. And if we have a promo code that encourages us to do that, even though there's no immediate click-through from the app over to the web. Speaking of no immediate click-throughs from the app over to the web, Instagram is so interesting because we're even seeing Insta business models or companies designed specifically to market the use of Instagram photos from electronic to print. Chatbooks is a super interesting app/startup that has popped up where you can automatically subscribe to have your Instagram photos printed in a beautiful book and sent to you after you post every 60 pictures for just $6 including shipping. What? So it's a subscription service with recurring revenue, meaning you sign up and every time you get 60 photos posted, they send you a new book of those printed photos. You can also manually upload photos. I've created a few photo books, but the price point here is really awesome, and the whole thing is formatted specifically for Instagram pictures in terms of the size and shape of the book. So if you want just a really quick photo book without having to spend all the time manually uploading photos, this is a massive value prop. And it's come out of this world of fast photos, fast printing, move on, consumptive experience, right? I don't want to spend time engaging with the printing process. I just want to pay $6 from my app, the Chatbooks app on my phone, connect it to my Instagram feed, and have a beautiful book show up at my door where I can then engage in a real-life tactile consumptive experience. Really seeing the whole play on dreaming, play on escapism, play on consumptive enjoyment and downtime. The use of restaurants, hotel, and travel on Instagram. Again, huge followers with boutique hotels in Brooklyn like White Hotel. We're also seeing big brands move into this space like Intel. Instead of promoting buy a new Intel machine, what they're pushing is the promotion of innovation. Dreaming, changing the world, doing good for the world. This is really tapped into that millennial identity. And what we're seeing is Instagram, again, is serving as a place to build really engaging, dream-worthy content, not push the brand so much, but create a consumptive experience that's enjoyable, that has us coming back to like, favorite, comment on a photo, regardless of if it's Intel, Ollie Jones, Coke, or our best friend. Engagement on Instagram is high. I just pulled this from last summer, the stat that says, according to analytics, marketing platform Curate, social media users interact with brands on Facebook 58 times more than they do on Facebook, and a whopping 120 times more than Twitter. So what that means is if you're thinking about your return on investment in Facebook and how your ads and engagement as a brand is worth your time on Facebook, you need to consider where Instagram plays into that, especially now that ads are at play. And you can't even click on anything on Instagram. What? 58 times? Come on, guys. Time to start looking at this platform if you haven't already. So just continuing along this road of shopping and the new e-commerce in the Instagram platform, fashion and fashion dreaming, setting the fashion conversation, huge on Instagram. I don't know why I wrote Pinterest there. Do you love that? Sometimes in my lectures I edit in real time. There we go. Fashion on Instagram, not Pinterest. For those of you who are just listening, I'm editing my text in real time. Speaking of fashion plus hashtags, so we're talking about you can either search by users, and we've looked at a few users that you can look up. You can also look by hashtag. What's interesting about hashtags is right now, hashtags are still mostly led by the users, not by brands. So as a social media marketer, we can see this as an opportunity for us to get in on the conversation. OOTD, hashtag OOTD, stands for, I should quiz you on this. What is it? Pause. OOTD, what could it mean? Outfit of the day. One of the most popular Instagram hashtags ties in that real-time sharing aspect with what I'm wearing, also connection to local brands, trendy outfits, trendy fashion planning, big followers engaging in outfit of the day. Also, I've seen lots of influencers use this as a revenue stream for them. So tagging their outfit of the day and then a brand. Brands pay them for that, that influencer marketing. Interesting idea if you're a fashion brand or startup, jewelry, any sort of small product service. Really interesting in looking at influencer marketing on Instagram. When you look at outfit of the day, and I would definitely encourage you to go and search through this stream and think about the lens of what other hashtag or engagement when you're thinking about Facebook or Twitter, what else has such similar daily reporting with such a high brand engagement opportunity? Users are celebrating their outfits and stuff, their style, things that excitement in what they're wearing. That is a huge opportunity to tap into that influencer marketing with your product and get in front of all of those users. Outfit of the day, big brand opportunity. So we're not working with brands, I'm working with cars. We have Auto Body Shop in this class. We have some other local brick and mortar type services and stores, restaurants, etc. Look at car dealerships, or in this case, Audi as a car brand, and look at the way that they're really focused on the visual ad. So again, we're seeing Audi is using very Instagram-specific content. It's not at all the same content that's on Facebook. It's not at all the same content that's on the web. What they're doing is creating consumptive, beautiful, dream-like experience, really tapping into that I want that, I need that feeling. And you know that you've hit a successful image when in the comments you see a whole bunch of users tagging their friends usernames in the comments. That is a way for users to say, hey, Jen, check out this post from Audi, and they tag you. And so if you have a lot of those tags with no messages, lots of usernames in your comments without any actual text, that's a way for you to know that you've actually hit a really great post that people want their friends to see. All right, so let's really time. Now we have a good idea of Instagram, really. Photos plus users plus hashtags. And you need to spend time as a brand to think about which hashtags make sense for your type of brand, whether it's location specific or daily post content specific. The other side of it is how do we just go directly to the users we don't already have through ads. Later this year, this is a quote directly from Instagram's press release that just came out last week. They've said, later this year, we're going to continue to connect businesses to the right people through expanded targeting options. Working with Facebook, we will enable advertisers to reach people on Instagram based on demographics and interests. Pause. Advertisers will be able to reach people on Instagram through demographics and interests. We know exactly what they're talking about, as well as information businesses have about their own customers, meaning their own lists. So we know that from custom audiences, being able to upload your own email list and then target those users is probably, if it doesn't already exist, it's coming soon from Instagram. Custom audiences, lookalike audiences. We're also going to improve the feedback mechanism with Instagram to give people greater control and relevance of the ads they see. That just means we're going to see exactly the same sort of, I like this ad, don't show me this ad again, reporting that we have on the Facebook newsfeed, carry over to our Instagram newsfeed. Another huge change to Instagram coming that's already here for brands is the call to action button. It's that call to action button that's available for brands on our Facebook page and on our ad. And we've spent so much time critiquing it, and I've given lots of you in your homework assignments feedback on what that text should be for your call to action button. We're going to see that call to action button on Instagram. What does that mean? Instagram's making it easier for brands specifically to put a link to take you out of Instagram and over to the web. So it means they're going to let you click shop now, and you can actually shop through Instagram over to your web. Why does Instagram want to take you out? Because as soon as advertisers start putting real money behind their ads, they're going to start wanting to know their click-through rates and their cost per acquisition. So how much money did I put into Instagram, and how much money did I generate from Instagram, generating sales as a result of Instagram? The only way to know that is to have a clear one-to-one connection. I clicked on a button and I went and I made a purchase, and right now there's no way to do that on Instagram because, as I said, you look at the cute picture of the baby leggings and then you manually go in and type in the URL on your web browser. Instagram can't associate that sale with their posts and use on Instagram, and they want to be able to do that to encourage more spending. Now, if you're a car dealership, do you only have to post about cars? Of course not. Remember that it's a social tool, and even though it's a consumptive experience, it's not just a one-way platform. People want to give you feedback and want to share. So I love this post from Audi where it said in the comments here, for anyone who'd like to see something other than a car, here's an Audi cupcake. You know what this is? Just a beautiful picture. And what's so clever about this Instagram cupcake post is it taps into the very popular food and what I'm eating post that's on Instagram. So they just basically tapping in. This is a know your audience post, right? They tapped into their audience. They said, we know that there's tons of cupcake and dessert photos on Instagram. We know we're a car company. Here's a picture of a cupcake. Beautiful. Remember that Instagram, unless it's locked down, you have two settings, either open to everybody or private, and you have to approve every follower. For brands, you want to be public. For users, you might choose to be private. But when you're public, your photos can end up being used to sell other people's brands. Ellie Goulding ran into a little bit of criticism when she pulled her Instagram fans photos and used them in a recent music video. People didn't like that very much. So be very careful with how you're using Instagram posts for your own ads. In terms of ways to engage, definitely take some time to look at GastroPost. I love the way GastroPost is really leading the way on Instagram. What they encourage is they send out a mission over email every week. GastroPost is owned by the National Post. Clever, right? GastroPost, National Post. You sign up to be part of the mission team. You get an email every week like coffee or tea, what do you love better? Take a picture of your coffee or tea and tag it GastroPost. If the National Post team likes your picture, they will print the photo and your image in the actual printed Saturday newspaper. So it's a clever value prop for users to tag their food photos with GastroPost, which extends the reach of GastroPost by offering them, again, a consumptive, real-world return on their time and tagging investment by getting their picture in the newspaper. Really interesting way to engage users without giving them any cash value prize, but still a really clever contest. So, are we feeling good about Instagram overall? If you are, head over to the discussion board on Blackboard and answer a couple questions like, will you try Instagram for your brand? What do you need to know about Instagram audiences in order to bring your Facebook approach over to Instagram? Do you think your Facebook audience is even on Instagram? Why or why not? And if you have any questions about your final executive summary that's due on July 18th, now's the time to start asking those questions. Remember, as a recap, your homework is to open an Instagram account for your brand, post one photo with a relevant hashtag, folks, and explain in the description feed of the assignment how you're going to tie your Facebook ads to your Instagram ads. Why or why not? Wait, what? Did she say executive summary? Yeah, executive summary. You have another one big assignment outside of your discussions, quizzes, and regular homework every week. Apologies for the sound in here. I'm in a public space, so hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Your executive summary, if it's longer than 2 pages, you will lose marks. I want to be able to take this beautiful short summary from each of you, no more than 2 pages. Do not cram a million text and extend the margins. I know all those tricks. I've played those games. It's not professional. I want to be able to pick up that executive summary and have a full and complete understanding of your brand approach and content on Facebook, and if there's a tie-in to Instagram, include that as well. Any links, photos, audience description, ads approach, and budget must be included in that summary. If you're not sure if it's professional enough or too much information or not enough information, imagine I was going to forward that executive summary to the president of George Brown College. Knowing that she is a very, very busy woman, and what does she really need to know about your Facebook brand in order to understand how it is that you're using Facebook? If I was going to take that executive summary and give it to a summer intern, could they have a good understanding of your brand online in order to replicate and produce content for you? If you think there's no way I could let her see it, this isn't, the language isn't tight enough or this isn't professional enough, edit it until you're sure. Last week, gonna miss chatting with all of you online. Next week is user-generated content. It's all you. I'll post a little bit of content just to make sure we wrap up all of our Facebook knowledge and review, but that's the time to ask all of your questions and really make sure you're feeling like you got the most value out of this 7-week course as you could, and that you have all of your Facebook questions answered. Also, if you're willing to post your executive summary next week for the class to see and learn from, I would really love for you to do that. That's a great way for you guys to share, comment, and learn from each other. So if you're willing to, please share and ask for feedback. That's it, everyone. Take care. Hope you have a great week.